The Joe Rogan Experience.
But as an individual, those jobs almost exist to let you know that you for sure don't want to do that. It's like the feeling of it being, it's like being in a real bad relationship, right? Like what gets you out of a relationship? You fucking explode. That's what happens. You get to a certain point where you're like, will you just shut the fuck up and leave me alone? I can't take this negativity anymore. We're done. We're done here. Okay, boom. Like you have to hit this well.
You got to hit the bottom in order to change.
Yeah, and you got to have that McDonald's job to appreciate a really good job.
And it's great to talk about later. Like you and I, we talk about our first jobs. It gave you the motivation to get on your fucking horse and get out of there.
Yeah, if you didn't have that motivation. And that's where, when we're talking about money, like about our society designed to sort of encourage motivation, which encourages success, which encourages financial rewards. It encourages you more attractive to the opposite sex when you're driving a Ferrari. To a lot of chicks, that's a fact. A lot of people get really mad at that, but that's a fact. It's just a fact. I mean, there's just too many dudes who are ugly and old who have really hot wives.
Right.
I mean, it's just fact. Guys get billions of dollars in giant yachts and they're fucking these hot chicks, and it doesn't make any sense, but that's a fact. Yeah. You can't deny that fact. Why does that fact exist? Well, it exists because we got a weird system. We got a weird system, and that's one of the holes in the system. One of the holes in the system is that achievement has superseded actual physical desire for a lot of these poor gold diggers, and they let this wrinkly old cocksucker shoot his dry loads into you.
Oh.
And you got to pretend you love it. Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. Put it in my mouth, baby. Right. Meanwhile, you're like that guy who got his face farted on and threw up at Naga. That's what you're thinking. And this old man fucking creeps on you.
Yeah, and he doesn't shower on purpose, just to degrade you further.
Probably.
Like if it's all about the money, why don't you suck it now, baby?
Well, there's a lot of guys that definitely have a resentment towards these gold diggers.
Oh, hell yeah.
For sure. Especially once the woman's, the fun has worn off of the game of pretending you're attracted to the man, which, if you're a guy who's not attractive and you're successful and you believe in your head that you're something cool, there's something special about you. Look how well I've done, and this defines me. This watch, see this watch? It's a $50,000 watch, and this is a fucking $20 million estate. And you get that shit in your head, and you get a girl, and she tricks you with your own ego. You get, baby, you're just amazing to be around. I'm just so lucky we met each other. Meanwhile, she is perfect. Her tits are just melons bobbing gently in this really strange, thin materialed clothes that she wears that clings over her hips and just inches lower than her vagina. Just hanging inches lower than her vagina. Her bubble ass and perfect legs.
The gap under the pussy.
Painted toes.
Yoga.
And you're like, Jesus Christ. Right. And she just strokes your cock, kisses you, and you're like, I'm marrying this bitch.
Wait, is she Asian? Is she Asian?
Yes.
Of course she is.
Thai. She's like Thai or something like that.
She's Thai, so she gives you that shoulder rub.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing is you realize with her, not only am I getting the fucking body, I'm getting shoulder rubs. I'm getting subservience. The bitch can cook. She treats the help well. She gets it. And you can go out with her, and she knows how to treat your friends. She knows how to kiss you in front of your friends. She poisons you in your sleep because she realizes that she's tricked you into having a shitty will where she gets everything. Because your kids she convinced you that your kids would be better off if you didn't give them a safety net, because that would make them successful like you. So she played to your ego, and you cut the kids out of the will and gave all the money to this crazy Thai bitch who starts slowly poisoning your drink. And she won. She earned it. That's the thing about like Anna Nicole Smith when his fucking stupid kids wanted his estate. No, Anna Nicole was sucking his dick. Didn't you do a bit about this?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, it was one of my closers in 1999.
What was it?
Well, it was the whole thing about them saying like, oh my God, she's taking advantage of him. She's only with him for his money. I'm like, don't you think he fucking knows?
Right.
That guy made $1 billion from scratch. Chances are he's a tad crafty. And it was like this whole thing about like, how do you want to die? Do you want to die shaking and alone in your hospital bed surrounded by loved ones? Or do you want to get a big fat Kentucky Fried hooker and just blow it out? And that's what he did. And it was all him dying, telling her to lick his ass and all the different shit he did to her right before he died.
And the kids have done nothing. And they think they deserve. You were raised with all that fucking money. You went to private schools. You had tennis coaches. He probably bought you houses. Why do you need more? What the fuck did you do? You didn't suck his dick.
Yeah. You need to get your own money, stupid.
Right.
You rode the ride and now it's over. And I think also, and this sounds fucked up, but that exists because it's a predatory situation. You're prey. You know, if you're a vulnerable, old, weak, emotional guy who also has $1 billion, women are going to prey on you.
Right.
They're going to pretend to be something they're not. And they might even convince themselves that they are that something that they're pretending to be, because their instinct to try to acquire your wealth and your social status is so strong that they want to be the Trump girl. They want to be the new girl that Trump leaves his wife for.
Yeah, I don't think it's black and white. I mean, if you're a woman that grew up in that paradigm, maybe your dad had money and your mother was a stay-at-home mom, and maybe she had a hint of that, and then all of a sudden you're involved in charitable organizations and you're taking his wealth and you're channeling it to positive things. So it starts to not necessarily be about, is he the one I would have married just based on his looks and his charisma, but it starts to become about, like, well, life is pairing up with somebody and being powerful. Like, you watch House of Cards?
No, I haven't. Don't you fucking spoiler alert me.
Just to say the relationship is about power.
I know that show rather is supposed to be amazing.
It's amazing.
I'm jumping onto it next.
But it's basically about how a couple can be together because they're a power couple. And it's interesting.
Bill and Hillary, most likely, right?
Right.
Most likely?
Absolutely. Most presidents.
I think probably you have to be. I don't think you can do that thing on your own. I think that's a nutty fucking job. And the First Lady has a prominent role in our culture. I mean, she's constantly speaking and doing these things. And I think you're dead right. I think you're dead right about that. And I think it's also that we're also talking about just two stops on a broad range of possibilities. Right. From ultimately totally evil Russian hot prostitute who steals your organs when you're asleep to someone who just doesn't want to work, and the guy's kind of cool and he treats her good, and so she stays with him. Yeah. You know, I mean, I've seen both. I've seen both. I've seen people get victimized, and I've seen people that are just in sort of this relationship where I wouldn't want it, but it works for them. You know,
and sometimes they're out in the open with it. The woman will tease and be like, "Oh, honey, you know I wouldn't be with you if it wasn't for the fucking money."
Oh, it's not even a tease.
And he goes, "Of course I know that."
That's a movie. That's in a movie. What was the movie that was in? There was a movie that was in where
Platoon.
Well, no,
Schindler's List. Terms of endearment.
See, you can't even help it. You do it right away.
Chitty
go
bang,
right
bang.
to fucking Platoon. Picturing organs hanging out on the beach. I forget the movie, man. But it was just about a guy who lost everything, and in the scene, like his wife was like laughing about it when everything was going great, and then when he did lose all the money, she did fucking leave him.
Right.
Well, actually, it was in The Wolf of Wall Street too. It's a common theme in The Wolf of Wall Street. Obviously, he was a crazy, coked up, fucking maniac piece of shit. But when he was going under, and his business was going under, that's when the wife left him.
Right.
When he was doing great, the wife wanted him when he was married to another woman.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a classic story. So it's not like that's an unfamiliar paradigm to us. It's nature.
Right.
It's a wounded antelope that gets taken out by the lion.
And she needs somebody to provide for her.
Well, or she doesn't, but in that role, she does.
Mm-hmm.
If she chooses that role. If she chooses the role of fucking the old, wrinkly, shaky man with his fucking pale, translucent dick that he sticks inside, we could see as he's coming, you'd see the veins like pump whatever blood they've got, and it's like a little highway going down his fucking saran-wrapped skin.
Filled with Viagra.
Yeah, and just shooting dust bubbles into her pussy. Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean,
pinching her nipples.
You can take that choice, or you could start an art gallery and become a multimillionaire on your own. I mean, you could do that too.
Right.
But when you are that girl, okay, if you are that 25-year-old girl with an Adderall problem that's looking to try to hook up with some old billionaire dude and marry him so that you'd be taken care of for life, that's your role. That's what you've chosen. You might have more potential than that, but it doesn't mean that that's not what you've chosen. Oh, you don't even know, baby. She's so slick. She's so smart. I mean, that is one of the smartest girls I've ever met in my life. When she met him and she put all together, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay, you're talking nonsense. She's still that girl.
She's a prostitute.
You can't say, no, listen, you can't say she's a prostitute. I know her, and she's powerful. Yeah. And what she did was, she's really clever, and she figured out a way to manipulate guys. No, she's still a prostitute.
Right.
You're missing the whole point.
Right.
It doesn't matter if she has all this potential. She reads 150 books a week, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Don't fucking tell me that girl is so goddamn smart. Oh my God. You're saying she's not smart? No. She's a hooker.
Right.
She's playing the role of a hooker. That's what she's doing.
What's the opposite in terms of a female and a male? Because sometimes women are so hot that the guy is getting something out of her, and he's putting up with not having love, not having respect for her, but wanting that pussy so bad, or that status of being with somebody that's that hot, that in the same way, he's a prostitute for what he's getting from her.
Oh, yeah. There's certainly, there's exchanges other than money that are unfair. The reason the old man gets the girl in the first place is because of his fucking money. That's it.
So it's honest. Both people know what they're getting.
Sort of, but it's not. Because they're playing a game called love. And the game is, baby, I love you. I'm just so happy to be with you. Oh, you love me, huh? Come here. You want some dick? I love your dick, baby. Go put it in. They're playing a game.
And somebody wins in the end. There's a winner and a loser.
They both win. He gets pussy.
Unless
he would never get that
him.
pussy. If she drugs him, it's a problem.
Right.
Well, it's a matter about maintaining that relationship and this allowing her to fuck her personal trainer.
Right.
Because she's going to.
Sure.
Okay? She's going to. Look how hot she is. She's got this little waist, this dynamic body. She's 25 years old and you're 90. She's going to fuck her trainer.
Right.
Just accept it. Be happy that you can fuck her and don't ask questions.
Pretty girls
yeah, this isn't supposed to work
out early.
Out open doors with just a smile. Yeah. Rich old man, she won't have to worry. It's a fucking great Eagles song, man.
Yeah, it's one of the great ones.
You can't hide your lion eyes, man. It's a fucking jam.
Right.
That's a jam.
See, it's got to be hard for you because when you met your wife, you were already very successful. You had money. For me, I had my girl. I fucked up because I was single when I met my girl, my now wife. I had an MTV game show, and I was like, I met her at the wrong fucking time. I could have lined up so much
but
pussy.
That's not true because you enjoyed it. See, everybody's worried about what but you still do. But everybody's worried about what they didn't do.
Right.
This is I should have done this. No, you shouldn't have.
Right.
Like, I've had people in my life to tell me the most important thing that ever happened to them was fucking up. Because if you fuck up, then you realize you fucked up, and that's what motivates you to get away from fucking
McDonald's.
up. If you say, I should have never done that. Of course you should have done it!
Yeah.
I lost everything. I fucked up getting that marriage, man. You should have fucking got married. You should have lost everything. Now you know.
Right.
You win. Now you win. You got the knowledge. Don't ever let it happen again. But don't use it as an excuse to just wallow in your own suffering.
There's nothing worse than the wallowing fucking divorced guy. You know, he's living in a condo in Marina Del Rey, and he's fucking going to the same bar every night and the same star. He's one of those guys where, like, the woman at Starbucks knows his name because his life has become so simplified and dumbed down because he's afraid to move forward after a divorce.
Eddie Bravo used to be a DJ at a strip club when we first met. And Eddie introduced me to the game of how these girls would go about getting men to buy them things.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be friends with these girls. I knew them through him. So they were nice people. They're, you know, and I didn't have relationships with them, so I was just talking to them. And they would tell me about these guys that they were hooking up with that would buy them cars and shit and how they would do it. So I visited him at work. And I'm like, what's going on, man? And he's like, nothing, dude. Check this out. You're going to talk to this girl, and then one of her clients, when she comes in, like, you got to see, like, this guy just bought her a truck. He bought her, like, a Yukon Denali. And so the girl's hanging out and, you know, hanging out with her friends, and this guy comes in there's a classic story. He's a wounded gazelle, 55-year-old divorced guy, works at the post office, coming in with his postal jacket on, okay? And
he's Norm from Cheers.
He bought her a $35,000 car, man. I mean, this guy, he bought her a fucking Yukon Denali. You know, it was a nice car. Maybe $35,000 is the wrong number. I'm just throwing it out there. Whatever it is, he bought her a new car. So she sees him, and she goes, "Oh, my God!" And she runs over, like, little baby steps, like a girl, and she's fucking naked, man. She's naked. She's in her underwear. She's got a bikini on. And she goes over and gives this guy a hug. And you can see this guy is defenseless. There's no way in the world that a girl that looks like that would ever have that kind of reaction to him. Mm-hmm. So he's got to pay for that. You got to pay for that. And you got to pay for it by buying her a car or taking care of her fucking credit problem that she's got or, you know, whatever. You got to figure out how to pay for that shit. Because there's no other way that you're going to get that relationship. But when I watched it, I was like, I looked at Eddie and he was like, that shit's straight mercenary, right? And I was like, this is crazy. Like, they put a con game on these guys.
Well, I got a friend who's like, he seems to like make friends with rich people. And he's a good guy, but it's weird. And he says that a few of these guys, they really do take care of girls. They've got like an apartment in New York that she lives in. She gets a check every month. I mean, figure it costs them $50,000 a year. And these are guys that have fucking $30 million. So to have a relationship set up when they come to town, they don't have to call an escort service, and they don't have to go out and try to make a straight relationship where they have to send flowers and call every day. They come to town. She's fucking gorgeous. Powerful, confident. It's all on the table. And they've got like 3 cities set up. And when he comes to town, she is available 24/7, whatever the fuck he wants. And I bet they have some kind of friendship underneath it all. Maybe not.
Well, that would be great if it all worked out like that, right? If that was the arrangement and it all worked out like that.
Right.
But the problem with people is there's never really a static state that maintains itself for any long periods of time when it comes to relationships. You're either kind of all in, or you drift in and out of each other, or
she finds another guy.
Yeah, I mean, people are weird. It's very difficult to make. So how are you going to maintain a long-term prostitutional relationship?
Right.
You're not. Most
They're
likely you're
unstable
not.
people to begin with.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, you're painted out to be awesome and beautiful, but the reality is, that's not what the girl wants. She wants to find a guy, either if she wants someone to take care of her, she wants to find a guy to take care of her and be her lover and her boyfriend or her husband or whatever. And for this guy that thinks that he's going to maintain, you're going to have to manage each one of these situations.
Right.
If you're some crazy CEO of some giant corporation, you got like 4 apartments scattered out across the country with chicks living in them, you got to maintain these positions.
Yeah.
Like who's fucking her when you're not there? What's happening? Is anybody plotting your death? You better be sure.
Yeah.
What did you sign? You sign anything crazy? Does she have any photographs of your dick? Like,
Did you give her a credit card? Yeah.
Did you give her a credit card? Well, it's like you'd have to monitor these situations. This ain't going to be a normal person. It's going to be a person that's willing to fuck you because you pay for them.
Right.
And, they might be crazy.
Yeah.
Easily might be crazy.
I heard this dude. I was at the W and sitting in the lobby waiting, and there's this dude sitting next to me, and he's got an accent, sounds Scandinavian, and he's going, "Oh, fine, I got you on the phone. You've been so hard to reach lately, baby. I'm so crazy, but you're so beautiful. I can't wait to get you out. You need to stop going to college. You come in. I take care of you." He never met her. And he was talking on the phone, clearly met on some kind of high-end dating service where you get women that you take care of.
Yeah.
And she was flirting back, and they were making plans for her to fly out for a week. He was going to take her to the best restaurants in L.A., blah, blah. And
so he's telling her all the things he's going to bribe her with.
Right. And he had seen her pictures online. They had talked on the phone clearly a few times. Wow. And he was closing. He was making the arrangements to fly her out.
Okay, why do we have a problem with that? Why does anybody have a problem with that?
I don't think anyone should have a problem with that.
They shouldn't, right?
Eyes are open.
There's nothing wrong
Everyone's
with that.
eyes are open.
Yeah.
I think all prostitution should be legalized. I think that whorehouses should be legalized. I think that having whores on the street or having to go through Craigslist it's horrible. The reality is people are going to use whores. Mm-hmm. Put it on the table, legalize it, make them get tested for STDs, make sure they're keeping their money, they're not getting fucking beaten up. Mm-hmm. And relationships like this should be fine.
Yeah, well, it's just unbelievably fascinating that you have something that everybody wants and everybody gets for free. But as soon as you attach money to it, it has this massive stigma to it.
Right.
Like, saying that these prostitutional relationships aren't stable. What relationships are? If you hook up with someone, is that going to be stable? If you just meet people randomly and have sex with them, you agree to have sex with each other, is that going to be stable? Are you sure? It might not be stable either.
Right.
You might run into instability everywhere you turn. But the main reason why we have all these negative ideas attached to the idea of prostitution is because it's illegal.
What if you hook up one night with a chick, you bought dinner, you bought drinks, you paid for the cab back to the apartment, you spent all the money, you guys fuck. How is that different than handing a girl money and having sex with her?
How about all those things are just you dating, and there's nothing wrong with being nice and being nice to someone and taking a friend out or driving them around, taking them to a nice restaurant. Nothing wrong with that. But then what if she says, I've got the situation. I'm 3 months behind my rent, and I don't know what to do. And you're like, look, I'll just take care of it.
Right.
And you write her a check, and then she sucks your dick. What happened there?
Right.
What happened there? Did you pay for her to suck your dick? We don't know. She might have sucked your dick anyway. You might have been like, listen, baby, you don't get money from me, but you do get dick. And you pull your dick out and then she blows you, that's different.
Right.
But most guys can't pull that off.
What about a marriage where the wife does not work, has never earned a dime, she's having sex with you? Mm-hmm. That's prostitution, according to some people.
According to some people, it certainly is. I mean, according to a lot of male feminists, it would be.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's money coming in and sex going out.
I mean, if that's what you want to look at. But it's agreements. The problem is the idea of money. It's agreements. That's where the idea of prostitution sort of it comes down to. What it comes down to is, are people having sex with people that they might not necessarily have been willing to without any benefit, but that benefit exists, so they are willing to do it? Is that prostitution? Because if that benefit is only money, then you're defining sex for something as sex for money. That's prostitution. But everything is sex for something.
If you see, like you were talking about the Ferrari thing before, if you're at a club and you see a guy pull up in a Ferrari and you go home with that guy, part of the reason you went home with him is you saw the Ferrari. There's not dollars exchanged, but there's an implicit understanding this dude's got money and he spends it like a fucking lunatic.
Yep.
And you want to be around that.
That's a good point, that he spends it like a fucking lunatic. That's a great point, because that's really what it is. A guy who's so flashy, he's driving a $250,000 car. He's not going to hesitate to give you a couple grand here and there.
Right.
You know, you want to buy a new pair of shoes? He's like, here, fucking peels off some hundreds.
Right.
Gives you a kiss on the cheek and goes back to doing business. Buy, sell, buy, sell. He's the fucking, some crazy multimillionaire maniac banker dude.
Right.
Balling.
And it's a party and you just got invited. You're going to be around
you're
this
part of the
fucking,
party.
this guy who doesn't give a shit about money. He knows he's going to die soon because he's on Adderall and he's chain smoking. He's a drunk. And wherever you go, you're eating the best steaks. You're getting into the best clubs. Life is fucking good. Oh, yeah. And I'm fucking him.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
There's
Walter
that at the end of the night.
McLevin's wife. And when you show up at the country club, oh, Mrs. McLevin, please come on in. And you've got a little poodle with you, and you fucking walk in your $3,000 shoes, and you waddle in there and take your tennis lesson, and your tennis player fucking bones you in the locker room.
Bam. And he knows it. Then the husband says, bring him over. I want to watch.
Oh, Jesus. I think that's ugly. A lot of guys won't do that, Brent. I don't think that's a normal thing.
No.
I don't think that's
wanting to watch.
That's a weird thing, isn't it? The cuckold porn. Just lets you know.
Cuckold porn. Where do you find that? I haven't really seen
that.
Find
online. Just type in cuckold porn. Don't do it, Brian.